December is here, which means it's officially the last month of the year and the final window for any games planning to launch in 2021. This tends to be a fairly front-loaded month, as not many games want to launch during the holidays, and this trend holds up with every game on our list releasing in the first 2 weeks of December, so we've got a lot to check out in a relatively small window. This month's list of games include a top-down action shooter, multiplayer aerial combat dragon battler, a stylized platformer, a single-player spaced combat adventure game, and a multiplayer survival title. We've also got Final Fantasy XIV's latest expansion, a physics-based puzzle space astronaut simulator, the Halo Infinite single-player campaign, an indie water-focused survival title, and a game that's all about cleaning up corrupted gunk on a strange planet. It is yet another month, and I am here yet again with another list of the top 10 new PC games to check out and play. Let's just dive right into it. So first up on our list this month is Anvil Vault Breakers. This is a multiplayer co-op top-down sci-fi roguelike action shooter, and that is one mouthful of a descriptor. In this game, you play as these characters called Vault Breakers who are hunting for loot in this procedurally generated world. I've actually played a bit of an early version of this game a little while back. At the time, I thought it seemed decent, albeit a little bit simple. So you start out by picking a playable character, which is what they call the Breakers. These are basically classes with their own set of usable weapons as well as 4 unique abilities, and then from there you select from a few different locations to begin a run. So maps are procedurally pieced together. You'll move through these different environments, battling waves of enemies, collecting loot and currency, as well as acquiring upgrades to improve your breaker's abilities. There are events like to protect satellites or attack specific locations, as well as multi-phased boss fights for you to do. Now once you reach the end of your first map, you'll then progress on to the second stage, rinse and repeat until you complete a full run in your selected location and collect a big reward at the end, and then returning back to the home base. Now here there are a few different options for customization and progression. The game has long-term progression with these offensive, defensive, and strategic skill trees, which let you choose various bonuses like to increase your damage or health or reduce your cooldowns. There's also this pet system of toy workers that provide different passive buffs depending on the one that you select. There are seasonal progression systems with various currencies and customization rewards, and you can also swap your breaker at any time, although I do know that the game is supposed to start you off with some of them locked. Also, the game can be played in single player or in co-op with teams, and this will be coming to Steam's early access on the PC on December 2nd, although there is no price as of this recording. It'll be launching by the time you watch this video, since I'm recording this on the 1st. I think if the price is right on Anvil Vault Breakers, it could be good for a fun little romp. I did play an early build of this game, and it left me feeling like it was decent, although a little bare bones. It actually kind of reminded me of a more stripped down version of the game Helldivers, if you remember or ever played that. I thought that was really cool, but this feels quite a bit more limited from what I saw, but maybe it's more fleshed out now that the game is actually releasing, because yeah, I played it a few months ago. We'll see how it turns out. I think if it's moderately priced, it could be something to keep an eye on. Next up is the title Century Age of Ashes. This is a free-to-play multiplayer dragon battle game where you'll compete in these intense online games ranging from 3 vs 3 to 6 vs 6. It's got fast-paced gameplay and a variety of game modes. There is Carnage, Spoils of War, and Gates of Fire. Carnage is a 6 vs 6 team deathmatch with these special power-ups appearing in the arena like the Drake Piercer, which can one-shot any opponent. Gates of Fire sees 2 teams competing to capture a flag and then gaining points by flying that flag through these special gates located around the arena. And then finally there's Spoils of War. You have to steal gold from these mighty creatures as well as the enemy team, while then trying to protect your own gold nest and adapting to various events that take place. Each of these modes will be played on a variety of maps set in various fantasy locations. The game also has a class system. There are 3 unique classes, each with different playstyles and abilities. The Wind Guard can shield allies and disorient enemies. The Marauder is all about hunting down, tracking, and destroying enemies. And then the Phantom can use stealth and trap to surprise enemies. Additional classes are also planned and will be coming throughout the game's development over time. The game also has a bunch of customization, as you expect it since it's free to to play. While you play, you'll gain experience, and then that will be used to unlock skins that can customize your dragon as well as your rider. And then, yeah, it is a free-to-play game. They say it's completely free to play, and they're going to keep the experience fair and equitable, with in-game purchases being purely cosmetic. Battles will be won by skill and teamwork. There'll be no advantages for you to purchase. And this is launching on December the 2nd on Steam. Now, they're already selling various Founders Packs that include things like dragon helmet and shield customization skins. Their weapon skins, they're the gem system, as well as XP boosters, and apparently some of these packs offer as well Discord server roles. LOL. Okay, cool. Thanks for the Discord. Anyways, whatever. This actually looks really cool. I know multiplayer aerial combat is a fairly niche genre, in my opinion. You don't see a lot of these games getting really huge, but if you are into that sort of thing, I think this looks fairly promising. Visually, performance-wise, everything I've seen looks like it's pretty, could be pretty cool. And again, the cost is nothing. It is a free game, so at the very least, it'll be worth checking this one out. Next on our list is Solar Ash. This is a stylish 3D platformer that was originally set for release a few months ago. It is finally launching this month. Solar Ash is set in this large open world where we play as a Void Runner who is on a quest to save her homeworld. This is the second game from Heart Machine, the studio behind critically acclaimed indie title Hyper Light Drifter. They're very high expectations for this next release of theirs. So in Solar Ash, we'll be plunged into this surreal, vivid, highly stylized world that is filled with these wild, high-speed traversal, these endearing characters, and massive enemy encounters. The game's got a big focus on movement. You are constantly gliding and jumping, using this grapple hook to swing through and quickly traverse the environment. And combat in the game is also said to be simple, fast, and fluid, and designed to encourage flowing from one action to the next while you are constantly in motion. The game, I think, has a great aesthetic to it. It's got a really neat style, and I think the character design is pretty cool. It also all looks super smooth from the gameplay trailers that they've released so far. And like I said, expectations are quite high coming off the back of Hyper Light Drifter. A lot of people really liked that game. And I'm glad they took the extra time to polish Solar Ash, and hopefully it all turned out for the best. Solar Ash is launching on the PC and PlayStation consoles on December 2nd for $39.99. This is an Epic exclusive, by the way, on PC. Moving on, we have got Chorus. This is a single-player space combat shooter with a very heavy narrative focus. You play as Nara, once a deadly warrior who is now a wanted fugitive on a quest to destroy this dark cult that created her. Along with Forsaken, her sentient starfighter, you'll be exploring epic locations like sprawling space stations and strange planes of existence, engaging in zero-G dogfights from epic cosmic vistas to tight crystalline corridors. Chorus is looking to blend the scale and spectacle of space exploration with some frenetic, fast-paced action. As you play through the narrative campaign, you'll unlock new capabilities. You'll have to learn how to master your ship's drifting mechanics, as well as skills like teleportation and telekinesis to overcome hordes of enemies and take down massive battleships. Although this one is near the bottom of the list in terms of the games that I'm most interested in playing this month, it does seem pretty interesting for anyone who is looking forward to a single-player space combat game. Chorus comes to the PC, Xbox, and PlayStation consoles on December 3rd for $39.99. Next game on our list is Icarus. This is a session-based PvE-focused survival game set on a distant Earth-like planet. The premise is that you are a space prospector going after these valuable resources, but the planet is really dangerous and you can't stay on the surface for long. So the basic loop of the game looks like this. You'll drop in from orbit and have a limited amount of time to go around harvesting resources and trying to survive. And then before the timer runs out, you must return to your ship using whatever gathered resources to craft more advanced tech. After that, you will start a brand new session and go again, dropping in, harvesting, surviving, and then returning to orbit. Rinse and repeat. So the game features all of the usual survival mechanics. In the beginning, you're going to start off with just some basic resources. You'll be picking up rocks and chopping trees, and then using those to craft basic tools to harvest higher tier resources, as well as to make various weapons to hunt. The planet is going to contain a variety of dangers for you to have to navigate. There will be a toxic atmosphere, savage wildlife, as well as deadly storms that you might have to take shelter from. You'll also have to seek out sources of oxygen and hunt hunt for food to sustain yourself. Exploration is really big here. The game's map is apparently over 64 square kilometers and is completely handcrafted, and as such will be full of secrets. So as you play, you'll learn more and discover things like hidden resource and item locations, and everything in the game is also completely harvestable with this voxel-based destruction system. And the goal of every session is to basically make the most of your allotted time and then go back to the dropship before it returns to orbit. If you don't make it, your character and all of your progress are actually lost forever. And they say there is a range of mission and session types available, some lasting for hours, others lasting days or even weeks. And it is a PvE focused game, not much in the way of PvP. You can play solo or co-op in groups of up to 8. This game is being developed by Rocketworks. That's the studio founded by DayZ creator Dean Hall. Earlier in the year, they planned to release an early access, and initially I thought the game looked fairly janky, to be honest with you. Although they did delay the early access release, and some of the recent footage looks much more polished, and well, hopefully that extra development time paid off. So it's not coming into early access anymore, rather it is fully launching on the PC on December 4th for the price of $29.99. Next up is Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. We have been talking about this expansion for a while now here on the channel, and it is finally here. Endwalker, the game's 4th expansion, brings with it a continuation of the main storyline, concluding the narrative arc of A Realm Reborn, along with a host of other brand new content, which include 2 new classes, the Sage, an aggressive healer with lots of damage skills, along with barriers to protect allies, and the Reaper, a melee DPS with a focus on combo attacks and his demon form. Beyond the brand new classes, there are going to be updates to all of the existing classes with new abilities and changes to rotations. This goes along with a raise to the level cap. There are numerous new zones coming, new dungeons and trials, the island sanctuary system, and some quality of life changes, including a stat squish. Endwalker comes to the PC and PlayStation on December 7th for $39.99. Unfortunately, I doubt I will personally have time to play Endwalker this month. I hope all of you who are into Final Fantasy XIV really enjoy this. I've heard nothing really but glowing things about this MMO. I will have to add this to the list of Final Fantasy XIV content I will eventually have to marathon through one of these years if I can ever find the time. MMOs, man, it's my favorite genre, but it is like the worst genre to try to keep up with if you want to play all of the major games. It's just tough stuff, dude. All right, moving on. The next title is called Heavenly Bodies. This is a really interesting, unique looking indie game. You play as a cosmonaut with independent control of your arms, hands, and legs, and you'll attempt to complete challenging physics-based tasks and puzzles aboard a space station. So you're dealing with no gravity, just floating through space and having independent control of your limbs and hands. Basic premise is you've been entrusted to bring into operation Earth's proudest feat of engineering, which you'll be doing by actually playing through a collection of scenarios that are inspired by the feats of space explorers and researchers throughout history. So like these are events inspired by real life, apparently. The game's main features include, like I mentioned, the ability to control every limb of your weightless cosmonaut to perform these challenging, delicate maneuvers. You can play single player or with a friend via local or online co-op, and it's got this stylized 70s visual aesthetic that is influenced by archival space photography and technical illustration, it says. The game's movement system is really designed to be used with a dual analog joystick controller. It does have keyboard and mouse support, but it's really not the intended experience. Heavenly Bodies is coming to PlayStation consoles and PC on December 7th. No price at the moment. If I were to guess, I would say this thing will probably be in the $20 to $40 range. And it seems like it could be a real interesting experience. It is likely a shorter, one-time playthrough kind of a game. That's the impression that I get from what I've seen. Despite that, though, I think it looks pretty neat if you like these sort of experiences. Moving on is the game on the list that really needs no introduction, so I'm going to keep it brief. Halo Infinite's single-player campaign. So the multiplayer is already available. It's been a blast. I've made a few videos covering it so far, but to wrap it up, generally speaking, I have just loved my time with this game. It's just been so much fun. I am way more interested now in checking out the single player campaign for Halo Infinite than I was before I got my hands on the multiplayer. I know that the whole season pass progression debate is raging on, and I for one agree, though its current iteration is a bit of a mess, and I hope they make changes to it. Even though it's a free-to-play game and I know they have to monetize, I feel like they can make progression feel better. But that said, I cannot deny the gameplay and the moment-to-moment action, which in my opinion is the most important thing. It's stellar, like hands down some of the best in-class FPS action out there right now. It's really, really good. So I am pumped to actually jump in and try the single-player version. So the campaign will have us stepping once again into the role of Master Chief. We will be confronting his most ruthless foe ever, of course, and experiencing an epic adventure exploring the vast reaches of Zeta Halo in the biggest, most wide-open, adventure-filled Halo experience ever. Basically, it's an open world Halo game. The early impressions that I've seen so far of the campaign have been predominantly positive, and I'm just really interested to see like what an open world Halo looks like. I haven't played a single player Halo campaign since Halo 3, which was nearly 15 years ago, and again, after playing the multiplayer, I'm ready to jump back in. Halo Infinite's campaign will be coming to the PC and Xbox consoles on December 8th for $59.99. Next up, we've got a unique looking indie title. This is Breakwaters. It's a survival game that has you exploring this procedural island world, scavenging for resources, and then finding ways to deal with the threat of these massive titans. The game has some really interesting mechanics for interacting and dealing with water. There are like special crystals that displace water, opening up new paths and giving you access to resources. You can construct walls to hold water back, preventing waves from destroying your base, or you can even redirect water, turning what was a valley into a lake. Aside from the water play, it does look like a standard survival game where you gather resources to build structures and items. You can craft gear to suit different play styles, like you can be a farmer, explorer, or adventurer, and you'll be able to build and customize boats, which will help you handle the game's rough weather, deal with local enemies, as well as the titans, which are those massive creatures that roam the world causing damage and mayhem. And that's the ultimate goal, is to destroy the titans in this game. The game has over 360 square kilometers of ocean to explore, filled with unique procedurally generated islands, biomes, creatures, people, and resources, and a story for you to go through as you progress. This can be played single player or with online co-op, and it's coming to the PC on December 9th. Currently, there is no price at the moment. And finally, the 10th game on our list is the Gunk. This is a new 3D exploration adventure game from the creators of the SteamWorld series. In the Gunk, you play as Ronnie, part of a duo of space haulers who come across this untouched planet brimming with life, but covered in gunk. Using your trusty power glove, you'll go around cleaning up the corruption, uncovering secrets of this old civilization, and trying to heal the planet. Some of the game's main features include, well, a focus on exploration. Really, that's what this game is. You'll discover this lush jungle planet with damp caves, venture into the unknown, and explore this bygone society. The main thing you'll be doing is trying to eradicate the gunk, restore nature, and then transform the world around you. For this reason, this game actually reminds me a lot of Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which released earlier this year. There's this intimate narrative that's intrinsically linked with the game's exploration, with the game's two main characters keeping in tight radio contact throughout. And then also, apparently, there's a big emphasis on music and atmosphere that is built with it. So the Gunk is coming to the PC and Xbox consoles on December 16th. Currently no price. Also worth noting, this is going to be on the Windows Store, not on Steam. Something you should be aware of. And before we wrap up, I do have a couple of other bonus titles I want to mention. First, there is Wartales. This is coming today. I'm recording this on December 1st. It's a Steam Early Access game. It's an open world RPG that has you leading a group of mercenaries in a search for wealth across this massive medieval universe. You'll explore the world, recruit companions, collect bounties, and unravel the secret of the tombs of the ancients. Steam Early Access release coming out today on December 1st. and this is going to be priced at $34.99. And then I also just want to mention the fact that we are supposed to be getting the beta for Corepunk this month. This is that top-down MMO game that plays like a MOBA, but I haven't heard any details about the beta. They say it's supposed to still be happening in December. Since we haven't heard like a specific date and it's, well, the month has started, I am concerned that this might get pushed back. I think there's actually a decent chance. Hopefully I'm wrong though, and we actually do finally get to play Corepunk this month. I've been waiting for so long and I'm so interested in this game. I just want to get my hands on it. At the same time though, I realized that, you know, they should make it as good as it can be. So if it's not ready, fine, don't have the beta. Maybe just stop giving us release windows and just let us know when it's finally ready. But anyways, that is going to do it for this month's list, checking out the 10 best new upcoming games on the PC in December. It's kind of strange though, because like I'm recording this on the 1st. About a third of this list launches and like by the time you watch this video, so we should actually have like reviews and impressions of this stuff, and I do plan myself to play at least and cover at least a few of these games. There's a few that I'm really interested in, so expect some further video coverage and impressions and stuff here on the channel. But yeah, it's strange. I normally try to come out with these like before the month starts. That way when you guys see the list, it's before all of the reviews and stuff are out, because like I'm mentioning some games right now that by the time you watch this may have already released and the reviews are out, and they may be total garbage. But you know, I don't pretend to be able to foresee the future. I just make this list of games that I think look the most interesting. Some of them will be great. Some of them will turn out to be terrible. That's the nature of the beast. What can you do? But anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the list. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one, all right? Take it easy.